everyone, it's Alyssa here at the Township of Washington Library, and I am here to show you April's monthly craft. This is our craft for this month, and I really like it. It is so simple, but it's really pretty, and it was really relaxing to put together. So I have given you in your kit, and if you don't have a kit, this is really easy to do. Just some examples of some stock image line drawings that I found online. And this translucent mixed media paper. So I didn't want to go with watercolor paper, and I didn't want to go with regular paper, and I was trying to figure out what to use when I needed to trace over an image. And I found that this kind of translucent paper is great for all different kinds of paint mediums, including watercolors. So I'm going to show you how I turned this into this. You also have in your kits your markers, paintbrush, a straw, a Q-tip, and your paint in a bag, which is dried watercolor paint, and you just rehydrate it with water. You could leave it on the bag as your palette, or you could move it to something else. They're, like the little dots will pop off really easily, and they're not super fragile. So you can move it to a different palette, or you can use your plastic bag as your palette, and then let them dry up, fold it up again, and reuse them. All right, so I'm going to show you. This is really quick, and really this was fun. I enjoyed this. So let's go take a look at how this is done. Okay, so I have my supplies here. I have my cutout parchment watercolor paper. I have my template, and these are just two ideas to get you started, but you can certainly pick any kind of drawing that you would like, because as you can see, this is really nice and translucent, so I can see my shape underneath. But here are just two, just two simple ideas to get you started. I have my dried paint right here. I have a little bowl of water and my brush. So the first thing that we're going to do is get our parchment wet. Right, that's what you do when you're doing watercolors. You get your surface nice and wet. So I'm going to go ahead and get my canvas ready to go. What I'm going to do next is place it over one of my templates, just so I kind of have an idea of the neighborhood in which I am doing my little illustrating here. There we go. And so what we're going to do with our paints is we're going to rehydrate them. They are watercolors, so they are going to come back to life with some water. So here we go. I'm going to rehydrate it, and I can start adding color anywhere on my design that I would like. You don't need to stay within the lines, at least for me. This is kind of like a little magical, mystical, fun kind of drawing. I'm going to mix with my colors too. Remember, the trick with watercolors is adding lots of water. So you can get funky with your watercolor paintings. I'm using a straw to create some texture. You could use it also to create some droplets. Maybe you could do this finger flicking thing. You could do it with a toothbrush, a brush that's a little stiffer than this, but you can really just play around. And so I've given everybody different combinations of colors, so these kind of go together, and then I have one that is a contrasting color, so I'm going to use that to kind of just add some interest, some visual interest, maybe some texture or something. Just play around. It's no rules when you're making your own art. I don't know if you can see in here, but there's some of the blue is starting to dry, and see there's some swirl, and there's a little bit of yellow that's sticking out in there. And it's not quite forming green, but there are some tones, and then there's some yellow with that purple in there. You can work in layers too. It dries pretty quickly. I mean, I know it's like there's a big puddle, but it's becoming pretty workable as we go. And at this point now, I'm going to let it dry. I've had some fun. I'm gonna let it dry. You can go ahead and work on another one. All right, so I've let this dry mostly. I still have a little bit of a wet spot right here, but that's okay. So I've laid this back down over my template that I'm going to go ahead and trace. So you have this fine tip pen, and we're just going to trace this. You do want to be careful not to smudge it. It does dry on here pretty nicely, but you can tell if there are any areas of wet ink. You just don't want to smudge it. And I'm left-handed, so chances are I might smudge it, but we'll be careful. Alright, so there's mine. It's not perfect. You can kind of make your lines as thin or as thick as you want. You can follow it as exactly as you want. If you want, you can punch a little hole in it and use a ribbon. If you want, you could even cut and have just the crystal, but I love the look of this with the paint splattering on the outside. So I hope you like yours too. And then, you know, you can reuse these paints. I've given you more than one. And like I said, you can use the illustrations that I've given you, or you can go ahead and find anything else, or if you are an artist, you can draw your own on here, but I'm not an artist. I am crafty, but I'm not an artist, so I'll leave that to all of you. But there we go, there's my watercolor bookmark. Okay, so that is all. I've made sure that my felt tip pen ink is totally dry before I put it in my book. I kind of trimmed around, but I left a lot of the excess space. Just added a little bit of ribbon yarn with some of this fun holographic metallic twisted through it, just to kind of go with this color theme. So that's it. So you can make a couple of these and have fun, and then you've made your very own bookmarks. So there you go, and if you're like me, you have bookmarks in just about every corner of your house, so why not make your own? So that's a nice, fun, simple one. I hope you all enjoy it. Of course, send me pictures if you would like to. I would love to see what you've created, and I hope that you have as much fun as I do. And that's it for this month. I will see you next time. Bye!